single-handedly shape or reshape the musical landscape, as well as the musical educational landscape, which has led to the performance sector benefiting from all of us who would have gone through the DCC's program. And if you thought that the program was in any way short of anything, for those of you who would have gone abroad, you will see the benefits of the program, of the level that you were at, based on students from around the rest of the world. You know, we cannot discount the quality of the program, and that is why this standardization here is important, because we want the musical landscape throughout the island and the islands to improve. Our students will be better, our performances will be better, our compositions will be better. So let me introduce you to the final aspect of today's proceedings with none other than Roger Clemens.
Good afternoon, everyone. I guess everyone can see me here. All right, first of all, I am not CXC. I'm not going to extend what Parnell indicated. I'm going to give you some information on composition, composing music, and arranging. So most of you do this already. It may just be a refresher. If it isn't, all the information will be sent to you. And, yeah, so let's see if we can record together. And these are all taken from notes that I use currently at PCC. And the arranging part taken from a workshop I did earlier this year. So there are some examples that I'm supposed to do, but given everyone here is a music teacher, and you only have an hour before doing the examples, and we just try to get through all the information so we're done with your copy. So let's go. So as I said, I'm not CXC. I look at music, and I'm just giving you some ideas on composition. Hopefully you can incorporate them in what it is that you do. So composition. If people compose music in different ways, you know that is true. You can use a motif, rhythm, words, chord progressions, forms, patterns. No one way is better or worse, they're just different. Following the method that uses harmony to create a melody, it is just one way of composing. So that's how we do it. That's how some people do it, not what everybody does. I'm not sure from CXC's point of view if this is the way or just the way, but at least this is an avenue for you to use with your students. So, limitations. There are always limits to what we do. For example, you may have to write for a string quartet. This is a limitation. So if you think of it, if you're asked to write for quartet, string quartet, you don't include the clarinet and the trombone. That's a limitation. You have to write for primary school choir. This is a limitation, as you'd have to write simpler than for professionals. So in this course, I will always set limits to the composition and scroll up. Marks will be deducted. All right, so the marks will be deducted because he said this is stuff that I actually teach. So cartoons. So simple way of composing melodies use only cartoons. Everyone knows what cartoons are, right? So C major chord, cartoons are C, E, G, F minor chord, cartoons are F, A, F, C. So, as I said, this is stuff that I give students. This is an example. Below is a melody based on cartoons following these limits. Range no greater than an octave, and you can set your own limits if you want. These are mine, and they change them as they go. So range no greater than an octave, no need to greater than a third, unless arpeggiating the chord. And on the tonic, use only crotchets and menus. And there is an idea here is that students can create a melody that's really simple. They don't have to bother with quavers and maybe rhythms that they're not so sure about. And it should pretty much work. So I'll play it for you. And I give them the progression, which you have. And it's only 3 chords, 1.5, C, F, and G. So So as you notice, all cartoons, nothing exotic. You can ask questions along the way if you wish. And I've included a few rests to make it interesting. And it's just literally just minutes and projects. I've not taught secondary school in years. Is it? Marcella's shaking her head. Yeah, 20 years, but I assume that your fourth and fifth formers should be able to do this fairly easily, I assume. I said it's just, and it can be even simpler than this if you want. So then the students get to do melody using the same progression. And right, so to make it even more complex, pass notes and auxiliaries. Everyone knows what pass notes and auxiliaries are. So a way of embellishing the melody is to add pass notes and auxiliaries. So they've created the basic thing, and what I've done now in this next example, I have the same criteria, the same limitations, but now I'm adding passing notes, some auxiliaries, and embellishes the melody, so it makes it a little bit more interesting. So, Brenda, if you can just scroll it a bit more so you can see it. So it sounds like this. 1, 2, 3. And I purposely include the chromatic notes just to indicate that you don't necessarily have to think diatonically right through, that you can do that. So and then they get to compose something using the same idea. So rhythm. This is something we only added really just very recently. You can use rhythm to spice up your melodies. So if you examine the following, this example here, it's really only just 4 notes. So it's like a motif. C chord, F chord, and if you vary the rhythm, these 4 notes, you create some really interesting ideas. And again, if you have a class of 20 students or 30 students, you should come up with 30 different ideas using these rhythms. So just play them through, just to give you an idea. As I said, I took the same 4 notes, and so this is what we started with originally, and we varied it, so it goes like this. 2, 3, 4. That's the original. 3, 3, So each one just using rest or some syncopation. You start with just those 4 notes, creates some interest. And I'm assuming that when we go to composition 2, we talk a bit about form. Because once you start talking about form, now, with just that idea, you can create a song. So creating chord progression. So I've given the students the chord progression now. I expect them to do the same thing, create their own chord progression. So in reality, anything goes, but there's some conventions that can be useful. So ordinarily, if you're doing traditional harmony and classical music, persons tend to talk about chord progressions, strong chord progressions are closest, moving up to 4th or 5th. So C to F, C to G, moving down to 3rd, so you got the. Right, so that stuff on the 6th C's up particularly strong, moving down to 3rd C to A, to F. But really, truly, when you listen to music, anything can work in chord progression. Cadences, if you've got cadences, would be very helpful. You do cadences. So in this example, like imperfect cadence, stable, interrupted, and perfect cadence here on the end. So, one of the criteria, one of the limitations or the criteria that you can add is that you end your phrase with a cadence. All right, scroll again for that. So form, most pieces have some measure of repetition in it. In pop music, there's a lot of it, and in classical music, not as much. Exploring repetition in contrast usually leads to feeling composition. So having stuff that comes back, yes. Right. So this first example is A, B, C, D. In that when you look at the chord progression, each 4-bar phrase has a different progression. Yeah, nothing would come back being the same. And then, yeah, scroll forward again. So, right. So in this example now, my chords are settled in a way that it's like A, A, B. And you can create a melody that fits that. Yeah, so scroll again. Yeah. So we've done created pitches and use the same ideas from the first handout. Chord tones and some passing notes, and in this case auxiliaries and stuff. But this is A, B. And so hopefully students, if you could decide that you're just dealing with 4-bar phrases, have to work with 4-bar phrases if you want to really make it happen. You have to end with a cadence and create their chord progression. And I would have chosen chords at random. And the song, this piece is a 12-bar piece, and it sounds like this. 2, 3, 4. Right, so it's A, B. And one of the things, the students at my level, I try to impress them that you can be really simple because often they want to write Beethoven's 5th Symphony or maybe Beethoven's 10th Symphony. But so it's just A, B, and it's a 12-bar composition. So if you go again, right, so if there's a slight change in the melody or the harmony of the second A, it becomes A prime. So the form is now A prime, A prime B, and the slight change just happened here. So I can play it for you, but everybody should be fine that it's still the A, B, A, but the A prime idea. So then I give them right, some examples to do. 12 pieces in C major, use only diatonic triads. And so that's the limitation because it sort of boxes them in. If they're in C, not use second F sharp major, but just diatonic triads, and it should work pretty well once you use diatonic triads. Use 4-bar phrases, again, it boxes them in to create something that will work. Each phrase must end with a cadence, use only chord tones, pass notes, auxiliaries, range is a 10th at the most. And then the homework is similar, okay? Right, so that is, I have something else? Right, so that is some really just basic composition stuff. I'm not sure if you guys, if this is stuff you already use or if you have other techniques with teaching students composition. If you're interested, I could talk a bit about songwriting if you want, but because it's soon for CXC, you can write songs as well. We talk about hooks and rhyming and that type of thing. But if not, we can go on to the arranging. Any questions at this stage? Yes, Marcella?
So you started with chord progressions, something that I prefer, but my kids don't prefer anything like that. They come up with a melody and then we scramble to try to make sense of it.
Okay.
Okay.
So some tips on how to do it the other way.
Okay. So you said they come with a melody. They actually sing the melody to you, or they sing the melody, record it on something, or what it?
The last person recorded the melody and brought it forward.
So if it's a melody, I'm not sure for CXC if they just accept the melody. They just accept the melody, or it has to be melody and chords.
For the composition, it can be a one line. For the arrangement, it has to be for more than two voices, whatever those two voices are.
All right, so Marcelo, you could just transcribe the melody for them, because usually for most students, that's the issue, writing it out. Yeah, so that should be fine. Any other questions? Yeah. So how do you get them to sing the melody? They sing it to you. They record it on their phone. What do they do?
Most times they go there and they hum it. They come up with some really wacky words and they sing it.
Okay, so they're writing songs.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean there are a couple different things you can do for songs. You could actually take an existing song and change the words to it, or as they're doing, taking a melody and creating the thing, or you could give them a track. You could actually, like, we do in the music industry, you could actually create like a 4-bar loop and have them, go home with it. It could be a simple loop, C, F, C, G, or C, F, F, C, or something like that, and do various styles. It could be a little calypso thing, or a reggae thing, and have them then use that to generate their song. Cool. And the onus will be on you to transcribe it. I assume then what they come up with. Usually for songwriting, I talk about things like hooks, rhyming, the idea of verse and chorus, and usually just if you're going to write lyrics, the concept, that is, the songs tend to be created out of some sort of concept. So you can talk about having lunch, but what's interesting about having lunch? What is the angle you're coming with? So is the angle that we're having lunch together? You have to cook the lunch. What is it a storyline that you're developing? Did something happen at lunch that made lunch interesting? Was there a particular food that you're allergic to? What is the angle that will create interest in when you create the lyric? So, and most songs, as you say, rhyme, hook, and the form tends to be verse, chorus. Yeah. Okay. Right. Any other questions? Any other thoughts before we go on to the arranging part? All right. So for the composition, Dave, you're saying it can be a single line. So everybody they know is aware of that, and it can also be, I guess, if you want something more involved, if need be, like yeah. So what happens if you harmonize it? Because one of the things as an individual, as the music examiner going out, we may ask the student, well, if it's harmonized, what chord is this? And if they can't answer, then we assume then that maybe they haven't done the composition. So if they haven't harmonized it, do you harmonize it, or do you just leave it as it is?
So you're asking if it is not harmonized?
Yeah.
If maybe you're marking it?
No. If when you're submitting it, do you harmonize, or you just send it as a single line?
Just say as a single line.
Okay.
I would always say, though, that is beneficial to put harmony. There you go. I would always find it beneficial to put the harmony in it. But what examiners have been encouraged to do is if you submit a single line, you're encouraged to listen for harmonic implications. So in hearing the melody, you may very well hear a chord progression that is going along with it or whatever. So you're encouraged to think about that. Don't think of it too hard there. But
I am really lost.
Don't think too hard. But a single line is acceptable. That's what
I'm not sure you understood my point. If you harmonize it as a teacher in let's say forget the exam, in the exam, as when we come up to hear the
you mean the
students play and they present we ask them if we do the Viva Voce.
Right.
Yeah, we do the Viva
Viva
Voce,
Voce, right.
right. So I'm going to ask the student, you know, they have harmonized it, or you have harmonized it, CFCG. So I ask them, well, what cadence is this at this point? And they can't answer.
And you
Because
assume
they
and it's
didn't
just the
harmonize it.
melody
Yeah,
that they did.
Yeah, they just did the melody.
And the
Right.
teacher did the
My assumption is
the assumption is that the
Is that
teacher
the teacher
did or
did-
somebody else
did the work.
did
Yeah.
the rest of the work.
So would it be better then maybe just if just
To
to leave it as
just leave the
students
melody
work,
line.
and if so then and have them, I don't want to say coach, but inform them on ways then of describing what it is that they did.
Correct.
Because when they don't describe what it is that they did, or they don't describe it very well, we mark them down.
Correct. Because the thing is not to do the work. The thing is to assist the students through, guide them in ways to find chord progressions that are chords that might work for them, or if they start off with a melody that might work with the melody, etc., as opposed to do it for them, because there is something called too much.
Okay,
Right.
agree. Okay, any other questions? If not, go on to the arranging part of it. Okay, all right, soprano, the arranging techniques. So as I said, right, so I did a workshop with the police band earlier this year, and this would be stuff that I did with them. And right, it's also stuff that I teach too, when I do arranging. So simple and effective way of creating interest in your arrangement. Sorry, so what's arranging, by the way? And ask that question since everybody fairly quiet. What's arranging? Yeah, changing an existing composition, how? And how do you do that? What aspects do you change? You can change the rhythm, change the melody, the genre, right? The style, the thing is written in. I can't hear you. Right? So yeah, you could add stuff to it. Yeah, that didn't exist before. Anything else?
Instrumentation.
Sorry, instrumentation, right? The instrumentation. Without a doubt. Right. So those are the things that, so when we say arranging, these are the things that we do. So in this workshop, I just concentrated on a few items, but each of those things that you mentioned are areas that you can explore. So melody, a simple and effective way of creating interest in your arrangement. It's to vary the melody. Mozart, you know, y'all know the guy. I just sent a thing out on the Black Mozart. I saw that recently. A guy who was born in Guadeloupe, white father and slave mother, and he was called the Black Mozart because he was just an awesome musician. Mozart hardly ever repeated sections exactly the same. He would make minor changes to melodic or harmonic features. So melodies can be varied by changing names of notes, adding rest, repeating notes, or by adding passing notes, auxiliaries, and other harmony notes. They can even be varied by writing them in a different time signature. So I'll just play through these. So the original is a hymn. So we're just looking at the melody 3 and so if you change the note lengths, 3 and so that already creates interest and makes it a Ian Webster or a Justin or a Mylon or Darren who's fallen asleep already. It's amazing. He used to fall asleep at BCC, man still falling asleep. What should we record it? We recording this. Sorry, Darren. I forgot we recorded it. A lot worse? Okay. All right. Right. Parental scroll. Right, you can add rest. And of course you can combine these things. 2, 3, 4, Right, you can use repeated notes. 3, 4. Right. And you can add passing notes and auxiliaries. And you can change the meter. 2, 3. So one of the things I usually emphasize in students is that you're not, the pitches are still coming back, because one of the things that they will start to do is change the pitches around, but it's still an E, it's still a G sharp, it's still a B. You may add stuff to it, may change the lengths, but if you change the pitches, then you're going to change the melody. Okay, so you're pretty much just changing rhythm, adding rest, changing the lengths of notes, etc. All right. So, right. So as I said, this was an exercise, and the band were able to do the thing. Right. You can do the same thing with your students. Brenda is going to send you all this stuff, so you can create your own notes. All right. So reharmonization. So you can mix with the harmonies, manipulate the harmonies in some way. Interest can be creating your arrangement by changing the harmony. The following are just a few such ideas that may be simple but yet tasteful. So, simple substitution. Tonic sounding chord can be substituted for another tonic sounding chord, and the same is true for the other categories. This concept can be extended to seventh chord. So when we say tonic sounding chords, these are tonic sounding chords. 1, 3 minor, if I'm in major key, 1, 3 minor, 6 minor. So I give the example there, like in C major. So they can be interchanged. Subdominant sounding chords, 2 minor and 4, can be interchanged, and the dominant sounding chords can also be interchanged. So if this is the original, we can reharmonize it by changing some of the chords. So for example, so the original is, sorry. And then you can use, instead of starting with the C, doing that one, you feel using a different speed as opposed to original again was beautiful Barbados. And what I did then, I asked them to reharmonize the thing. So instead of a C chord, you could have gone to the A minor. I went to a D minor on the F, yeah? Or if you want, start with a D minor. So a rough rule of thumb in reharmonization is that the important notes in the melody, but just go again, right, I'm sorry. All right. Our chord tones are available notations in the new chord. So I did it something a little bit more exotic, and if you follow the rule that the notes, the chords that you choose, the notes in the melody happen to be a chord tone. Everybody understands tensions, yeah? 9, 11, and 13, or tensions in the melody, then you can get pretty interesting. So I'll play this for you. Okay, so I'm not sure, maybe our advanced students, and at this stage, if they're not piano players and stuff, it may be a matter of trial and error, but trial and error is a method that works. But so the E chord, the E chord works, is the E major chord, or the A major, right? So using secondary dominants and stuff. So depending on I'm not sure where
how far you go in your harmony, but depending on the chord types, like using the A augmented and stuff, depending on the chord types that you've gone, if you've done more interchange, and I'm not sure, as I say, I'm not sure how far you go, but secondary dominants and stuff, they can now include some of them, or they may just hear them, you know. But once it fits, I'm not sure if I have any anything here, right? The E, I guess you could, the E on the end is a 9 and a 13, you know, so most of it is just like 1, 3, 5, but the E on the here end here works because that's a 9 on the D minor and a 13 on the D7. So depending on where you are with the harmony, it could be really simple reharmonization, or it could get more complex. And they may hear things, because you come across students that just hearing this stuff, they can't describe it, but they're hearing this stuff. Right, so use of a pedal. So this is usually done on the tonic, dominant, or submedian. It can be done on other notes too. This simple method can be used sparingly to add a change in color in some forms of soca, you know, zoom, etc. It's a major characteristic of the style. So the original having a pedal. Right. That's a real simple technique to use, right? Right, so use of sevenths. A melody harmonies with triads can sound more complex if the seventh chords are used. Also, those with sevenths can be simplified by using triads. So again, it depends on what you've taught your students, or maybe advanced students who's doing this stuff. So the original is just this. Beautiful Barbados. That gives me just a little bit more color, and to the tune. As I said, if it was say maybe a jazz tune or R&B, something a little bit more complex, the student could simplify it by just using triads. All right, everybody good? Going on to texture, right? So texture is, you know, like how thick or how thin the sound is, or the type of technique that may be used in the arrangement. So background lines are single lines of music that accompany a melody. They can be written above or below the melody. They can be rhythmically simple or complex. They can be performed in unison or be harmonized. Simple background lines can be created by using the chord tones of the harmonic progression in a simple rhythm. So a voice lead-in is generally used. Avoid creating an interval of a second with the melody unless it resolves or is the effect that you want. It might be that's what you want to hear. Use a softer dynamic for the background line so that the melody stands out. Always write within the ranges of the instruments. So this is something that I come across, that we come across in marking, well, not marking CXC, but when they submit their arrangements, and you know, you're asking them a few questions about it. Sometimes they are not as aware of the, you know, that a flute can't play below middle C, you know, things like that. But they may have chosen flute because it works on Finale or whatever program they're using. So you may have to transpose the tune to put in the best range for your chosen instrument. So this is stuff, again, that I use with the police band and with the tertiary students. So this is an example. This is Beautiful Barbados. And this is simple background line chord tones. So we're just using C, F, right? It's still C. And we are voice lead-in. That is moving smoothly from note to note, from chord to chord. And by itself, it sounds really benign, but putting the two together, it can work. So check it out.
I play. So Dave was, I come back there, Bernard, right? So Dave was saying you have to have 2 lines of music, and so a second line can be easily generated by having a second instrument, just play a simple background line. Now, I don't think I deal with complex background lines, embellished background lines, but for those of you who are aware, you can make this line more interesting or make it into a counter melody by having a conversation with the melody. That is, when the melody is moving, this guy is static, and when this guy is static, this fellow moves. So it could be a situation where if I just play a little bit, it sounds like this. What I'm doing is sustain when there's movement in the melody, and when the melody is sustaining, you can create a line. All right, and that creates a counter melody really easily. All right, scroll up again. I think they're just examples, right? So yeah, so there. I think that's it. Yeah. Right. So if you go to joyful. So what I did with the policeman, I actually had him play, I did an example using joyful. Just 4 bars from joyful, and incorporated these ideas. So let's use the scoper now. Yeah. So I took 4 bars, yeah, and trumpet, alto, tenor, and trombone. And it's just written here for, this is sort of just a regular harmonization. And I'm going to ask you, right, so this is section A. I'm going to ask you, when you observe section B, what did I do? Because I'm using some of these same techniques. Are you ready? Yeah, so play section A. Yeah, it's displayed in concert pitch. So stop, right. Okay, let's play it again. Sorry about that. So you can go back to A. Go back to A. So scroll back. Yeah, right. Go again. And my question is, what do they do at B? Yeah, continue now. Start. So, right. So what did I do at B? I altered the melody. Yeah. So the other parts are the same, but it's just the melody that's altered, and add in some passing notes, and the chromatic ones work really nice as well. So we can go to C. If you know to set it to, yeah, you got it set to start at. Right. Very good. So what did I do at C? At C. Play C again, Dave. Play C again. So what happened at C? Right, so the first thing is that the instrumentation change, yeah, which is one of the things we can do. So the alto sax has the melody, not just any melody, Paul. It has the altered melody, right? So it doesn't have the original, it has the altered melody. And one of the things, as I said, that you should do from this is just make sure the students are aware of the ranges that an alto sax can actually play. I tend to operate in concert. For me, it's just 10 times easier to work in concert. What else is happening here? Yeah, so the instrumentation has changed. It's not just it's not all
for instruments, and Paul says it's not just the alto sax taking the melody, but we have tenor sax and the trombone are at rest. And what was the trumpet doing? What's the trumpet? Was that a simple background line? Yeah. So the trumpet is playing a simple background line, again within the range of the trumpet, and observing all the things. It's just a G. There are no seconds being formed. It sounds fairly decent. All right. So let's play C again. I'm going to D, and same question. What am I doing at D? So the alto sax singer playing the chords, but what am I doing at D? Reharmonizing it. So reharm. So that's why I have put the chords there before, so they can see compared it to the E minor. Okay, F sharp instead of the D, the E minor. So 6 instead of 1, 7 instead of 5, right? 3 instead of 1. That's the F sharp diminished. Yeah, that's the F sharp diminished. Yeah, the 0. And again, the instrumentation has changed. It's just 3 instruments playing this time. The alto sax still has the melody, but the harmonies, the accompaniment, all right, has been reharmonized. What are the trumpet and the trombone doing? Sorry, not trumpet, tenor sax and trombone. I apologize. Background lines, yeah. So doing background lines now based on the harmony, and they're actually just doing background lines in thirds or thereabouts. Yeah, chord tones ideas again. So it's a harmonized background line. Right, everybody good? We can keep going? Yeah. Okay. As I said, Parnell is going to send you all this stuff. So E, what happens at E? One more time, Dave. So what did they do at E? 2 levels of syncopation, yeah. So what is syncopated? What happens with the trumpet? What am I syncopating in the trumpet? Huh? No, what? The melody. Yeah, so the melody is being syncopated in trumpet, and what's happening with the alto sax? What line is being syncopated? The background line, yeah, that's the same. This is actually the same simple background line from earlier on. At least it better be, right? So right, so the same simple background line that that is now just being syncopated. Yeah. Okay, so let's play E again, Dave, and again, and the idea of the instrumentation, because sometimes when people talk about arranging, figure everybody got to play from beginning to end, and that's not that's hardly ever happens. You can get different colors by having different combinations of instruments. So let's play from E, and again, the question will be what happens at F. So what happened at F? Right, so he brought back in the tenor sax and the trombone. Yeah, these guys are still playing the same thing that they played at E, but now they're doing the simple background line. Right, they harmonize. Yeah, and is the harmony from where? Where have we harmonized it? Yeah. Okay. So let's do F again and keep going, and then the same question will be what happens at G. Yeah, that's all right. G. Right. So G, what happened at G? The melody is echoed. I wouldn't say necessarily echoed. Huh? It's a call and response. There, it's not the same lines from before. Right, so yeah, so the tenor sax is playing the same line as the trumpet, an octave lower. What's the trombone playing? The alto sax is still playing the background, that the syncopated thing. Right, so the trombone, right, so it's a pedal now. Yeah, so the trombone just playing the pedal. Let's do G again, and then we go to H. Right? You know, you may just hold the setting. Yeah, not hearing the trombone on the bottom. Yeah. So visually, what's happening at H, since you didn't hear it, but what's happening at H? What have I done? So the altered melody in the trumpet. Yeah. What's the alto sax playing? The background line, the embellished background line, the rhythmically embellished background line. The tenor sax is playing. Right, that's syncopated, the syncopated melody line, another syncopated melody line, and the trombone is playing the pedal. Yeah. So this is 29, 30, 31, 32. So let's play the whole thing. And if you think of it, there are really not that many different things, you know, it's just how they're combined. And they're utilizing the simple background line, changing the melody, you know, embellishing the melody, and the reharmonization idea. So let's see how it all sits together. That's it. All right, any questions?
I guess in the student level, the profile analysis, if a student were to produce something like this, or use at least some of the ideas, the previous ideas they have, you have the counter melody, you have the poly, and then there's the one beginning with H. What is it again? Ready, well, what? Yeah, heterophony. So it just like, that's also things to consider, even though we look at just applying different techniques. When it comes to the profile analysis, those terms, once utilized correctly, would also help each other score decent grades. But I will say though, just to add, I would have been reminded of some stuff today that I guess I would have forgotten. So I definitely thank you, Mr. Giddens. And I'm quite sure when I receive and I'm quite sure when I receive your file, I will see how best I can have my students utilize some of these techniques and have a better arrangement. And maybe what I say yesterday might not have been true, we'll find out. But we'll see. We will see how it goes. Thank you.
Right. Any questions? Everybody good? You blessed? Okay, so if I'll turn over then to Pernell. As saying it, I'm not CXC. There that Joel mentioned the profile and using the terms. I'm not sure how they grade the composition or the arrangement. But if it is that you have to use the particular terms to, so the students gain better marks, then definitely use them. But the techniques are stuff that you can use not just with, the students, but if you have a student band or what have you. And it's just 4 bars, if you think of it, it's just 4 bars. So, there's so much you can create with just 4 bars. If you had 8 bars or 16, think of it. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me. And thank you for letting me be part of this.